Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing Mark II of my Peterbilt 281 dual truck. Now, before I get into the review, I would like to go over how I made this model, and we'll start off with the cab itself. So, the base of the cab is actually a 164 scale 1955 Peterbilt 281 made by IXO Models, which is the actual basis for the truck in the film. Or at least one of them. The other one was a 351, but that's the less common one. And this truck here, actually, I'm not really sure. Let me check. Well, I'll be gosh darned. It's not a 281. It's a 351. I'm not sure if I'm correct there, but hold on. Okay, so I've pulled up an image from the actual film itself. And turns out there were two trucks used in the film. One is a 281 and one is a 351. And the model I used here is a 351. Now, I could tell that because the 281 has a horizontal air intake, while the 351 has a vertical intake. Now, the model I have here has a vertical intake, like a 351. Now, it's a little hard to see, but there are two rear axles on the wheels. The 281 has a single rear axle. This here would be different on the 281. But on the 351, they'd be the same, like here, because they are the same. There are two axles. Which means this isn't a 281. This is a 351. But other than that, both trucks were used in the film, so this is a model of the 351. Now I'll go over how I actually made the model. So, as you can see, it's obviously painted, but unlike my other dual truck model, which is obviously a lot bigger, it doesn't use that artificial rust texture. It's just regular black paint, because I looked at the truck in photos, and it didn't look that rusty, or at least it didn't look like it had that texture. So I did not use the same technique on this one. Also, since it's a smaller scale, it probably would have interfered with the details, which is one of the reasons why I didn't add it. Also, I actually broke some of the parts during painting, so I had to glue them on, like the smokestack here. This broke off when I was holding it, so I had to re-glue it. However, I had to break off the grill because I needed to paint that individually, so I had to re-glue that on too. I also lost one of the windshield wipers, which isn't accurate to the actual truck, but nobody will notice because it's kind of hard to see. Okay, I apologize if I'm stuttering in my videos, but I'm not really good at using my voice in them. So yeah. Alright, let's go over the trailer. So the trailer here is 3D printed, which is obvious by these layers here. I also used sticker paper or some kind of sticker and wrote the flammable words on to the labels. And this wasn't on the original truck, but I just thought it'd be cool. The word Anthem was on these stickers, and so I put them on. I also did the same thing for the back and the headlights. And if you look at an actual picture of the truck, there seems to be some kind of damage here. I think it's a burn. I'm not entirely sure. But it's definitely not a hole because it doesn't look like a hole. So it's most likely a burn mark. And that is not very visible on this truck because of all the black paint that's on it. And for the wheels, I use cardboard to raise them, which gives them which slightly gives them suspension. I'm sorry, once again I stutter. I also got some wheels from an old toy truck that I have. It was broken in the first place, so I thought I'd use them. It's in a better place now. Alright, now that we have how I made the truck out of the way, let's get on with the details. I mean, the review. So, for a quick size comparison, here's the truck next to Christine from the 1983 film Christine. She was technically also featured in the Stephen King story Christine, which is the same name, and technically originated from there. But I just thought I'd use the movie because I kind of forgot. I'm sorry, but still. Here are the two together, and they actually scale pretty well. Hold on. Just for another quick size comparison, here's a Matchbox Ford Aeromax that I painted to look like Optimus Prime. So, as you can see, the two trucks are not in scale with each other. And Christine and this truck here are way off in scale. Because this should be almost as big as this, but a lot bigger. Because this truck is from the 1950s. I had to zoom out for this one because the other model was really big. Here it is next to my other dual truck model, which as you can see is not a Peterbilt 281/351. It's actually a 359, a 379, or a 389. I'm not 100% sure. But I will check right now. Okay, now that I'm 100% certain, the original truck model is a 379. I just removed the sleeper, cut it up for the air conditioning unit, which the other truck doesn't have, and I made the trailer out of cardboard because I didn't have a 3D printer at the time. Now that I have a better model and a more accurate model of the truck, this model will be either scrapped or replaced, or put on display, I'm not sure. Here are the two trucks next to each other, or at least the little truck is on the bed of the big truck. And as you can see, there are a lot of size differences. This is, I believe it's 132 scale, while this one is 164 scale. So 164 scale, for 164 scale, think of your average Hot Wheels car, like Christine. She is a 1958 Plymouth Fury, which Hot Wheels makes a 57 Plymouth Fury, which the two are similar models, but still. Hot Wheels makes a car of this. So imagine a Hot Wheels car of this, and then compare it to this. Now, a 132 scale, if you've seen Jetta Toys 132 scale cars, then you might have a good idea on how big this is. Now, think of that, and then compare it to a semi-truck in that scale, which is this. If you don't have one, you can find them on Amazon, but specifically I found this one at a gas station. Here are the trailers, and as you can see, there's a major improvement here. The little one is a lot better than the cardboard trailer. Alright, let's get into the review itself. Or at least, let's continue the review. So, we're gonna go over the details. Now, I'm not 100% sure this is 100% accurate, but it is a 351, as I just demonstrated to you. So, I already told you about that. Now let's go over some details that have fallen off after I made this on Christmas Day. So, you can see a lot of paint chips on the hood here. And once again, the windshield wiper is missing. I also kind of bent the back of the horn out of shape. And I also broke the smokestack twice because I recreated the final scene from the film, but the trailer fell onto the truck and the smokestack fell off. And I don't plan on doing that until I actually make a film with this model. So what have I learned from this project? A 3D printer can help you in whatever you're making. Also, I now have a stunt double for this truck in case I don't want it to get destroyed. Kind of like Smokey and the Bandit, where a bull bar randomly appears on the truck in that film, so the grill will be protected. So sort of like that. All right, so I do plan on making a movie with this truck. Yeah, I do plan on making a movie with this truck, but I'm going to add Christine in it as some kind of antagonist. And the truck itself will also be a supernatural entity, and will also be Christine's I forgot the word, hold on. Okay, so I can't think of the word, but I'm just gonna say this. The truck and Christine will battle it out in my planned film. And if you're wondering why I want the truck to be a supernatural entity in itself, here's something from the original film. Spoilers ahead. Just end the video right here if you want to avoid spoilers. So, in the movie, at the end where the truck flies off the cliff, which I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen enough clips to know how it goes. The truck drives off a cliff, and it makes a dinosaur-like noise when it drives off, which gives it a supernatural presence. It also appears that the driver isn't actually the villain here. It feels like the truck is, and the driver is just a vessel trying to drive the truck itself. Which makes me wonder, is the truck just a truck? Or is it some kind of supernatural being, like Christine is? But Christine's possessed, so that doesn't technically count. But is the truck a demon or something? Or is it also possessed? Because if it's a demon, then I kind of get that, because no truck makes a dinosaur-like noise when it drives off a cliff. But anyway, that concludes the video. Thank you for watching. Also, please like and subscribe. I plan on hitting 1,000 subscribers whenever possible, because I highly doubt that I will get 1,000 subscribers at the end of the year. But so I just hope I get 1,000 subscribers sometime, at some point. A mouse just crawled up the curtain. Thank you guys for watching. I already said that, but still. Now, I want to tell you guys a little secret about my Godzilla skit series. But if you look about to the right, you might see it. You might see a secret. I won't say anything else about it, but that secret is for the Godzilla skit series. Alright. This is Account Taking Down 88 signing off. That is the first time I send my full internet personality on my channel. Yeah, I'm probably never gonna say it again, but still. Goodbye.